What's up, everybody? I'm back, and we're continuing reading Nietzsche. We're reading Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Part 3. I've previously read Part 1 and Part 2 many months ago, and then we jumped around, as I have a habit of doing, on different books and different stuff. Like I've said before, there's a lot to this, and I don't think I could digest each part just back to back to back. And so we'll do the third part and maybe the fourth part. Let's see. We seem to be going through this. It seems to be an easier read. I feel like I'm reading better out loud. I'm mumbling less. I'm talking louder and enunciating words. I still fuck up, but much less than when I first started. Thank you guys who do tune in, who do listen to me read, who give me likes, who share my page, who give me feedback. I appreciate all that. Soon I'll be getting a computer again, and then I'm going to try to do more networking and expand out. Both make my YouTube better, make these videos better, make my just social medias better, polish up some stuff, maybe see if I can get some sponsorship. Anyways, let's get back to this. Upon the Mount of Olives. Winter, a wicked guest is sitting at home with me. My hands are blue from the handshake of his friendship. I honor this wicked guest, but I like to let him sit alone. I like to run away from him, and if one runs well, one escapes him. With warm feet and warm thoughts, I run where the wind stands still, to the sunny nook of my Mount of Olives. There I laugh at my severe guest, and am still well disposed toward him, for catching the flies at home, and for silencing much small noise. For he does not suffer it when a mosquito would sing, or even two. He even makes the lane lonely till the moonlight, and it is afraid at night. He is a hard guest, but I honor him, and I do not pray like the pampered to the pot-bellied fire idol, even a little chattering of the teeth rather than adoring idols. Thus my nature dictates. And I have a special grudge against all fire idols that are in heat, steaming and musty. Whoever I love better in winter than in summer. I mock my enemies better and more heartily since winter dwells in my home. Heartily in truth, even when I crawl in bed, even then, my hidden happiness still laughs and is full of pranks. Even the dream that lies to me still laughs. I, a crawler. Never in my life have I crawled before the mighty, and if I ever lied, I lied out of love. Therefore I'm glad in the wintry bed too. A simple bed warms me more than a rich one, for I am jealous of my poverty, and in winter it is most faithful to me. I begin every day with a bit of malice. I mock the winter with a cold breath. That makes my severe house guest grumble. Besides, I like to tickle him with a little wax candle, to make him let the sky come out of the ashen gray twilight at last. For I am especially malicious in the morning. In the early hour when the pail rattles at the well and the horses whinny warmly through gray lanes, then I wait impatiently for the bright sky to rise before me at last. The snow-bearded winter sky, the old man with his white hair, the winter sky so taciturn that it often tactily hides even its sun. Was it from him that I learned the long bright silence? Or did he learn it from me? Or did each of us invent it independently? The origin of all good things is thousandfold. All good prankish things leap into existence from sheer joy. How could one expect them to do that only once? The long silence, too, is a good prankish thing, and to look out of a bright, round-eyed face like the winter sky, and tactically to hide one's sun and one's indomitable solar will. Verily, this art and this winter prank I have learned well. It is my favorite malice and art that my silence has learned not to betray itself through silence. Rattling with discourse and dice, I outwit those who wait solemnly. My will and purpose shall elude all these severe inspectors, that no one may discern any ground in ultimate woe, for that I have invented my long bright silence. Many I found who were clever. They veiled their faces and muddled their waters, that nobody might see through them deep down. But precisely to them came the clever mistrusters and nutcrackers, precisely though their most hidden fish were fished out. It is the bright, the bold, the transparent who are cleverest among those who are silent. Their ground is down so deep that even the brightest water does not betray it. And I must not conceal myself like one who has swallowed gold, lest they slip open my soul. Must I not walk on stilts that they overlook my long legs? All these grudge joys and drudge boys who surround me, these smoky room temperature, used up, wilted, fretful souls, how could their grudge endure my happiness? Hence I show them only the ice in the winter of my peaks, and not that my mountain still wins all the belts of the sun round itself. They hear only my winter winds whistling, and not that I also cross warm seas like longing, heavy, hot south winds. They still have pity on my accidents, but my words say, let accidents come to me. They are innocent as little children. How could they endure my happiness if I did not wrap my happiness in accidents and winter distress and polar bear caps and cover of snowy heavens? If I myself did not have mercy on their pity, which is the pity of grudge joys and drudge boys, if I myself did not sigh before them and chatter with cold, impatiently suffer them to wrap me in their pity. This is the wise frolicsomeness and friendliness of my soul, that it does not conceal its winter and its icy winds, nor does it conceal its chill blains. Loneliness can be the escape of the sick. Loneliness can also be the escape from the sick. Let them hear me chatter and sigh with the winter. Cold, all these poor jealous jokers around me. With such sighing and chattering, I still escape their heated rooms. Let them suffer and sigh over my chill blains. The ice of knowledge will yet freeze him to death, they moan. Meanwhile, I run crisscross on my Mount of Olives with warm feet. In the sunny nook of my Mount of Olives, I sing and I mock all pity. Thus sang Zarathustra on passing by. Thus walking slowly among peoples and through numerous towns, Zarathustra returned on roundabout paths to his mountains and his cave. And on the way he also came unexpectedly to the gate of the great city, but here a foaming fool jumped toward him with outspread hands and barred his way. This, however, was the same fool whom the people called Zarathustra's ape, for he had gathered something of his phrasing and cadence, and also liked to borrow from the treasures of wisdom. But the fool spoke thus to Zarathustra. O Zarathustra, here is the great city. Here you could find nothing and lose everything. Why do you want to wade through the mire? Have pity on your foot. Rather spit on the city gate and turn back. Here is hell for a hermit's thoughts. Here great thoughts are boiled alive and cooked till they are small. Hence all great feelings decay. Only the smallest rattle-boned feelings may rattle here. Don't you smell the slaughterhouses and ovens of the spirit even now? Does not this town steam with the fumes of slaughtered spirit? Do you see the soul hanging like a limp, dirty rag? And still they make newspaper of these rags. Don't you hear how the spirit has been reduced to plays on words? It vomits revolting verbal swill, and they still make newspapers of this swill. They hound each other, and know not where. They overheat each other, and they know not why. They tinkle with their tin, they jingle with their gold. They are cold and seek warmth from brandy. They are heated and seek coolness from frozen spirits. They are all diseased and sick with public opinions. All lusts and vices are at home here, but there are also some here who are virtuous. There is much serviceable virtue with pin fingers and hard sitting and waiting flesh. Blessed with little stars on the chest, with padded, rumpleless daughters. Honey, don't. You're going to distract me from reading. Please, thanks. There is also much piety. There are many devout lickspittles, batteries of fakers, and flattery bakers before the God of hosts. For it is from above that the stars and the glorious spittle trickle. Each starless chest longs above. The moon has her courtyard, and the courtyard has its moon calves. To everything, however, that comes from the court, the beggarly mob and all serviceable beggar virtue pray. I serve, you serve, we serve. Thus all serviceable virtues praise to the prince, that the deserved star may finally be pinned on the marrow chest. The moon, however, still revolves around all that is earthly. So too the prince still revolves around that which is earthliest. But that is the gold of the shopkeeper. The God of hosts is no God of gold bars. The prince proposes, but the shopkeeper disposes. Chooses down there, cracking me up. But everything in you that is bright and strong and good, O Zarathustra, spit on this city of shopkeepers and turn back. Here all blood flows putrid and lukewarm and spummy through all the veins. Spit on the great city, which is the great swill room where all the swill spumes together. Spit on the city of the compressed souls in narrow chests, and Popeyes and sticky fingers on the city of the obtrusive, the impudent, the scribble and the scream throats, the overheated, ambitious, conceited, where everything infirm, infamous, lustful, dusky, overmusty, pussy, and plotting putrefies together. Spit on the great city and turn back. Here, however, Zarathustra interrupted the foaming fool, and put his hand over the fool's mouth. Stop at last, cried Zarathustra. Your speech and your manner have long nauseated me. Why did you live near the swamps so long, until you yourself have become a frog and a toad? Does not putrid, spummy swamp blood flow through your own veins, now that you have learned to croak and revile thus? Why have you not gone into the woods, or to plow the soil? Does not the sea bound in green islands? I despise your despising. And if you warned me, why did you not warn yourself? Out of love alone shall my despising and my warning bird fly up, not out of the swamp. They call you my ape, you foaming fool, but I call you my grunting swine. With your grunting you spoil for me my praise of folly. What was it that first made you grunt? That nobody flattered you sufficiently? You sat down to this filth so as to have reason to grunt much, to have reason for much revenge? For all your foaming is revenge, you vain fool. I guessed it well. But your fool's words injure me. Even where you are right, and even if Zarathustra's words were 1,000 times right, you still would always do wrong with my words. Thus spoke Zarathustra, and he looked at the great city, sighed, and long remained silent. At last he spoke thus: I am nauseated by this great city too, and not only by this fool. Here as there is nothing to be better, nothing to worsen. Woe unto the great city, and I wish I already saw the pillar of fire in which it will be burned. For such pillars of fire must precede the great noon, but this has its own time and its own destiny. This doctrine, however, I give you full as a parting present. Where one can no longer love, there one should pass by. Thus spoke Zarathustra, and he passed by the fool and the great city. Tomorrow we read on apostates, and it says number 1, so it's probably going to be a few sections. It will probably be the only section we read. No, it's a few, but we might be able to read, 2 sections tomorrow. Thank you guys for listening to me. As usual, I'll share this from my pages, and then I will post this on my YouTube. Thanks again. Peace and much love, suckers.